helping people put a smile on their face or just prevent them from doing something could possibly harmful to themselves. As long as they can stay positive as I can, everything is good.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Sweet Talking Podcast with me, your host, Nepherti. This is episode 67 of the podcast. It's great to have you all here. Thank you all so much for being here. I really do appreciate that. Before we get started with discussing and talking with our guests tonight, I do want to thank everybody who is watching the show live. You can watch this live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Nepherti. So thank you all for hanging out, those of you who are watching this live, and of course those of you who are watching this on YouTube right now. I really do appreciate you all, keeping tabs on what we're doing here. We've been doing this for a while. There's still a lot. We have a lot more guests lined up. The future of the podcast seems really, really bright, and I sincerely appreciate your continued support with the podcast. So, I do want to thank. I want to give one last thanks to everyone who has been supporting me during the subathon. Thank you all very, very much to all of you who've been very much keeping the subathon going. That's kind of what we have going on currently. So thank you very much for your support in that regard. And also thank you to everyone who has remained loyal to me over at patreon.com/Nepherti. I really do appreciate that as well, especially my Snuggle and Uwu tiers. But everyone who has been subscribed to me over there, I really do appreciate that very, very much. I do my best to really supply you with the best content that I can, especially the post content. Thank you so much for your support there, but we're gonna go ahead and just keep it moving. We don't want to talk too much about it. I don't want to toot my own horn, so let's get rid of that and let's get started with tonight's podcast. I'm very, very excited about tonight's guest, and I hope you are too. So I want to introduce my guest this evening. They go by the name Kokonatsu. And I think some of you who are on on TikTok and on YouTube, perhaps you know about them, perhaps you've heard about them, but here they are on my podcast. I'm very, 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 very happy, very excited to have a conversation and catch up with Coco tonight. So yeah, I always do a little bit of an icebreaker before I jump into things, but yeah, I actually had an opportunity to meet you. I believe it was at, I tend to be meeting a lot of people at Omegascape these days. So that there seems to be the place to meet very, really interesting people. And I don't think I knew you existed until I met you at that event. And I feel like that is, it's a really, really exciting, very fun, trans-oriented event, and it just happened to be there. And I'm like, oh wow, it's after I heard about who you are, I'm like, oh wow, this person's really, really interesting. So I'm kind of curious, like when you first met me, like what did you think? Did you have like initial thoughts about me, like initial opinions? Like, cause we did talk a little bit when we met. So
Yeah, I would say you were a hella professional. I would say more professional than I do. So most of the stuff I do is not like to your level of professional and stuff. Like you organize stuff from top to bottom. I kind of just like do it. So very organized, I would say.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, you were very nice. A very, very, very sweet, very, very sweet person. So it was just kind of like it's kind of a no-brainer after I looked into you and what you've done and the accomplishments that you've made, which I would say is pretty significant. The things that you've done. But I mean, in terms of, like the content creation space, of course, But I think that's you've done some really, really good work, and we're gonna dive into all of that tonight. But before we get into all of that, I do want to go ahead and just kind of start things off. I typically ask my guests to introduce themselves. So, like, if you were introducing yourself to someone in VR chat, or I guess someone who is interested in what you do, like, how would you go about introducing yourself? And for people who don't know who you are,
I would say I'm Kokonatsu. I am very interested in like creating content that relatable to most of the audience and stuff. It's gonna be comedic as well, so I don't want it to be like relatable, but boring at the same time. I want to add some comedy into relatability. So that's why I was able to attract quite a bit of, the audience that I have right now. So yeah, I think that's about it. It's
Okay. So you tend to describe yourself or kind of introduce yourself based on you being a content creator. Is that like there's that's like that kind of encompasses your life? It sounds like.
I don't run around and advertise myself, even though I should. Um, I kind of keep it on the low about the content creating stuff. Uh, even this model, I don't even use it that much to create content. I usually use the low chibi guy, the
Yeah.
Bame Hinata. So those are probably the most popular, like avatar in VR chat that most people can relate to, and it's cute and it's, you know, it's it's just really easy to work with. So I wouldn't say if you first met me, you would think I'm just like a normal bean, a normal VR chat player. Yeah, I keep on the low. I wouldn't, advertise myself too much,
Gotcha.
even though I should.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I really don't blame you. Like as someone who is a streamer myself, I typically don't go in guns blazing. Hey, I'm a streamer. Look at me. Like I get it. Like it's not something you really you want to be seen as a regular VR chat player because like in this space, like you don't want to act self-important. You don't want to act like you're like a big shot. You want to be like everyone else. And I like to meet people where they're at, as well. And it seems like you're very much like that too. Which is, I think
Exactly.
I think it's important to maintain that mindset. I think it's when people actually get caught up in the whole like, look at me, I'm so important, I do this thing on stream and people watch me and shit. I think that's when it kind of goes to people's heads and they become, less than pleasant to be around. So yeah, I definitely endeavor to not have that be the case with me either. So I get it. Yeah,
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 got it.
yeah.
I 100% agree with that. It's just that you don't gotta like overly advertise yourself. Like people will know when they see you. If they're interested, they will click on your links and stuff. But you, you don't gotta go too crazy about it. So
Right. Yeah,
so
completely agree. So, I suppose I should kind of jump into like the most obvious question. VR chat's very well known for people using female avatars and such. So, what was your I guess your reasoning for choosing your particular identity in VR chat? Like, how did you
um
land on this kind of look?
so are we talking about the avatar I'm using or the avatar I record with? Because there's
Both
two
actually.
different identities.
Both actually.
Um, let's just go ahead and go with this. This is a Shinano. It's a boot model, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's just cute and goofy. If I can't get my eye tracking today, I don't know why, but yeah, you can be really expressive with the model, and you can show more of your emotions, like when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're trying to get something, trying to get attention to somebody and stuff. So yeah, booth model do really well in that regards.
Hmm.
So about the chibi model, I find that its body proportion is really easy to work with, and I can easily do body acting with it, and mostly relatability because how approachable and cute he is, and it's really easy to put him into like montages because he kind of fits everywhere in the video. So
Okay.
yeah, that's about it. Well, yeah.
Okay. And like, let me see. So you described the chibi model as he and like I mean, obviously it's a female looking model.
Mhm.
So I'm curious. Is there a reasoning for that? Is there like a personal reason, personal choice of that, or is it just like I like the model, I'm just gonna use them kind of deal?
True. Whatever model looks cute, I just kind of use it. usually I jump around models a lot. I don't stay as one model, even though I do try to keep my chibi original
Mm-hmm.
because that's how I was known. That's how I grew with all of my platforms and stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. And I suppose like what led you to choosing that model, and like I guess where did you like, as someone who typically uses a variety of models, do you feel trapped using the chibi model, or is it like
Ooh.
is this something that you really enjoy and you still enjoy after all this time of doing it?
I would say a mix of both. I feel trapped because it's what most of my audience relates myself to, and how they relate to my model as well. So I do feel trapped in a way that really, if I switch up a model, they will avert their attention and maybe even leave, which I've been seeing a little bit of drop off because I'm starting to implement this model more in my video. So
Hmm.
a lot of people who look forward to seeing my GB usually kind of click off the videos or just tune into another video that they think it's more relatable to them. So I do kind of feel trapped in a way, hence why I create these bigger models to run around with and just to hang out with friends and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
I do feel trapped.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I think it's good to kind of like talk about that, because as content creators, like we make very particular choices, and people don't really understand why we make the choices that we make, and they're very systematic. They're for specific reasons of what we do, especially if we're successful. So like it makes sense like to kind of get that insight as to like how you're feeling about it and such. So.
Right.
So like, have you kind of like staved off that feeling by being able to mess around with, like, this kind of avatar, or change up different avatars like in your own social life?
Um, yeah, I would say I'm more comfortable in this than the little guy, because he looked like a kid,
Yeah.
and no one want to hang out with a kid. So yeah, I would say I have more fun recording a new type of video with the bigger models, because you wouldn't be able to do the same with the chibis. So
Hmm.
yeah, I would say it low key improved my social aspect of your chat using bigger models.
Gotcha. And how do you combat, or if at all, I don't know if it's like a combative type deal, but I imagine when people see you, they're like, oh, like I'm actually, based on your name, I would imagine that people thought that you were a girl, and like I don't believe like you talk very much in your
Uh-huh.
videos. So it's all body language and like text, and that's how you kind of do your performative stuff. So
Mhm.
like I imagine a lot of people think that you're a girl. Like, has that kind of been problematic for you at all?
Yeah, it's an ongoing thing. Even though my chibi looks like a boy, some people would mistake it to be a girl and stuff. But to be honest, I don't really care, as long as my video brings values, bring comedic values to my audience. That's what it matters.
Hmm.
You can address me as female or male. I don't care.
Hmm. Okay. I get
Mhm.
you. Yeah. So like, I didn't typically ask, but I should ask. Like, how do you personally identify? Like, just as a person, like not just as Kokonatsu, but as the person behind the avatar as well. Like, how do you kind of identify?
Like gender wise, sexuality wise, or
With gender mostly. Well, we'll say gender mostly
gender?
in this case. Yeah.
Okay. I would say I'm pretty straight for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty straight for the most part. I have a corporate job in real life. Your regular 9 to 5 and stuff. So yeah, I've been doing that for quite a bit. I did graduated from college to get the degree to climb my way up
Mm-hmm.
to, hopefully make more money out of it.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I'm a part-time on here and full-time in real life. So it gets chaotic sometime. It not sometime, all the time. Because I always find time to squeeze in, recording time, editing time. Since my edits are a little bit more complicated,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's really rough to, push out video consistently.
Mm.
So
Yeah. The struggle.
I'm trying my best.
It's the struggle of every
The
content
struggle.
creator. Yeah, it's like
Exactly.
especially if you're a streamer and you're doing everything indie, like being able to push out your own videos. It's just like, I spend all my time streaming. Like now I have to make videos. Like, yeah, it's kind of rough. Like especially if you want them to be high quality. But I suppose like once you when you're first getting started, it's not really a requirement that they're high quality. It's just that people are actually watching them, and then as people kind of get into it, you kind of up the quality because people
Yeah.
would appreciate
if you
that.
wa- Mhm. Yeah, if you want to make something, just gotta make it exist first, and then fine tune it later on
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
along the line as you improve and grow more your audience, or you can just get an editor.
Yeah.
That would solve all the problems.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if only we all had the the liberty of having one of those, but yeah. Yeah.
About having your editor though, your video authenticity is kind of, like lose a little bit of that, because me personally, I rely on editing to make my video like really pops and stand out and stuff. If I were to, hire someone to edit my videos, sure, I can push out more videos, but it wouldn't feel like me anymore. It feels more like, automated, streamlined kind of stuff instead of authentic Kokonatsu.
Yeah, of
That
course.
makes any sense.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like when you're editing, like editing has a certain style. It's like a certain mark that you have, a certain style of editing. Everyone has it. So yeah, of course you wouldn't want to like have that be contrived by having someone else have their hands in the creative process. So that is also the struggle of like, do I have an editor or do I just continue to do everything myself, kind of deal. Yeah, I totally get you. I totally understand that for real. So where are you from, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh yeah, I am from a country called Vietnam. It's a red flag with a golden star right in the middle. So I speak Vietnamese, of course, and yeah, I moved to the United States when I was, how long ago now? I think 13. But don't worry, I'm a U.S. citizen now. I took the citizenship test, and I passed it, so I got a certification and everything. So I would say I'm a fully Asian American at the moment.
Gotcha. Yeah, like, cause I know like you and I have been like we've been talking like to kind of set all this up. So like I met you before. I'm like, wait, you're from America, but you sound very much not from America. So yeah, but
Is my accent that thick?
it's noticeable. I mean, I'm also a voice actor, so I pay attention to people's voices. So I'm very conscientious of that.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah.
Interesting.
The more
Okay,
you
okay.
know. Yeah. So exactly.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The fact that you know that reference, I think that makes you like you're definitely American if you know the star flying across.
Yeah.
That's
To
a
be
very
honest,
American thing.
To be honest, TikTok was not my first brain rot. It was Vine.
Oh.
Vine
Okay.
and stuff do all of that to me. So
Okay.
I was brain rotted ever since I moved to the United States. To be
Mm.
honest, that's when Vine really blew up around like 2014, 2015-ish. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. And I have a question about your name. Your name. How did you settle on your name?
That's a good question. I would say where I live have a lot of like palm trees. I live near the beach, and I have a little tan like this, probably like this too. So yeah, I would walk to the beach every day, you know, trying to get my steps and exercise in. When I was in Vietnam, of course.
Mm.
I have nothing here. It's just flatlands. So, yeah, I would just name myself. Initially, it was like palm tree or something in Japanese, palm trees, but that didn't stick. So I was like, what comes with the palm tree, but more like iconic and stuff. Oh, it's coconut, but in Japanese. So, boom, voila, Kokonatsu.
Okay.
It's coconut in Japanese.
In Japanese, yeah, katakana. Yeah. Okay, okay.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I study Japanese and
Oh.
skoshi nihongo shaberareru. I can speak a
Okay.
little. Hanaseru. I can speak a little Japanese. So.
I wish I could talk by right now, but I'm very like beginner level at the moment. I'm still learning the hiragana and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just difficult. It's really difficult to stick to the, you know,
Mm.
the study guide and stuff. So
Trust me, I know. Like I'm not fluent, by the way. Like I lived there for 4 months. I was there, but yeah, I studied a little bit. But we can talk about that in like the post conversation for sure.
okay.
Yeah, we can talk more about Japan and
Let's do it.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so basically your name is Kokonuts in Japanese. I didn't catch that. So why the 0
0.
in your name?
This is 0 up there?
In your name.
Oh yeah, because it's already taken.
Okay, and that's that's the only okay. I mean that's
Exactly,
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So like
Most of
yeah,
my social also have a 0 in there because people already have the Kokonatsu and stuff. So
interesting. So like
yeah.
like I was actually curious to know if your like because like sometimes you have like the 0 in the first O and the 0 in the second O, and like according to my like my research, you seem to be using the 0 and the second O more than the first O. And I don't know if there's any logical reason for that, but that's me being kind of like hyper analytical. Is it just like you just put it wherever convenient?
Yeah,
Just
literally.
wherever. Okay.
The middle there is more like symmetric, I would say. So the letter go up like that and then go down, opposed to the rise in the beginning and just drop down low. So it goes like this. I don't know. It's just I just put the 0 where it's the most convenient, I guess, depending on the platform.
Got you. And like with people having, like people having the same name as you, have you run into any like any people? Well, actually, you know, I'll ask it now. I may forget later. Do you have people who try to pose as you? Because people have the same name as you.
Don't even get me started.
Okay. We can talk more about that like later on,
Okay.
like when we talk about like your content and everything. Okay, but that's good to know. Good to know. So like, is your overall design like the very like white hair, white outfit? Is that all like in line with like coconuts? Is that all like related to that?
Yeah, I would say my tan skin is basically the shell of the coconut, and all this white stuff here is basically the you know, the, how do you call that, the meat of the coconut and the juice and stuff. So yeah, it's if you flip me inside out, you would get a coconut.
Yeah. Okay, and like what about the eye color? Is the eye color relevant in any way?
I've always wanted a cat breed. It's called Turkish Angora. I don't know if you know those, but
I know about it.
they
Yeah.
are very like really big,
That's
fluffy cat.
that's actually really okay. Finish what you're saying. Sorry, finish what you're saying.
Yes.
I know what you're talking about
A
though.
really big, floofy cat with Some of them have like two eye colors, and I don't have one in the past, but one of my friend brought one over to me, and I was like, oh my god, I want this cat, and he never like gave it to me, but I've always wanted one of those Turkish Angora, and yeah, I kind of just threw it on here because I really like them.
Yeah, and like the reason why I know what you're talking about is because I actually have used like whenever I like finalize my actual like VTuber design, I actually based like a lot of my reference for being a cat girl VTuber is the Turkish Angora. But nobody
Okay.
nobody knows that though. But yeah.
Oh,
So I actually have a picture of one in my collection of information, like all my VTuber stuff. I have a picture of a Turkish Angora because like I want to like base the design loosely off of that version, that
so
species of
cool.
cat. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. Just so happens. So
We would have been kind of siblings if you went that route, but
yeah. I'm not quite there yet. I have to like get my own stuff like designed. At the moment, I'm still kind of using
Oh,
pre-made stuff. None like this isn't custom. This is just someone else's design, and all of my other VTuber stuff is also someone else's design. I just kind of modified it a little bit, but yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
looking forward to it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. And like, well, why cat girl? I usually ask people like that. Why cat girl, or cat
Ooh.
in this case?
Uh, yeah, I think it's the most popular breed out there, I guess. Because yeah, I do like cat girls too. So when I was making this, she already came as a cat girl, so I didn't really want to change the base too much. Because I was not gonna lie, I was lazy
Mm-hmm.
when I come up with the design and stuff. So yeah, here I am, just a little cat girl.
All right. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, people have their preferences. It is what it is. That's just how it's how we just kind of set things up, and like we just kind of roll with it. Cause like you're right.
Yeah.
There are a lot of cat girls, and it's it's very much a common thing, especially in VR chat. Um, like, can you tell us a little bit about what were you doing before you got into? I mean, I know you say you're working a
Content.
corporate job right now, but like who were you before like VR chat and before like all that came about? Like, what kind of person
Ooh,
were you?
getting a little personal. So yeah, I was, as I mentioned before, I was going to college and stuff like any other kids. Well, I'm Asian, so Asian family really strict about those grades and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gotta play by their rules, otherwise out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would have to work really hard for the degree, and I was also doing part time. I was a cook. I was prepping food. I was serving food and stuff. I was making Korean and Japanese food for a restaurant for a good 3 years in order to pay my college tuition, because I didn't want my parents' help. I want to be more independent, I guess. So yeah, that ever since I got my degree, I started to apply for the corporate jobs and stuff, and then yeah, kind of move up the ladder slowly, surely.
And what is your degree in?
Oh, it's mechanical engineering. I don't. Do you know what that is?
I have an
Think
idea. I have an idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
vague
It's
idea.
it's a lot of math and physics and
Mm-hmm.
and maybe thermodynamics in there too. But to be honest, college was kind of useless. To be frank.
Okay.
90% of the stuff I learned in college was not applied to my job. 10% of it were applied to my job because I actually reach out to the professor and have them show me more of the, I really have to go out of my way to get the knowledge of the job I'm working for. to really like dip my toes into everything. Yeah, college. Looking back at it, I wouldn't say it's worth it.
I mean, I'm right there with you. Like, and I went to college a while ago, so like I get you. Like, I wouldn't, if I had an option to go to college nowadays, I would not go. I would just kind of learn myself, teach whatever it is that I want to learn. Like right now, I would just kind of like buckle down and learn that. I mean, I guess I think people like to have structure, and so they go to college to have that sense of obligation and structure. Oh, I've given this institution this much amount of money, so I kind of have an obligation to go there, and it keeps people accountable in a world where there's a lot of distractions, a lot of things that can take you away, a lot of reasons to not engage with schooling or different systems. Like, you get really distracted. So having structure and having something to go to, I think, resonates with a lot of people. But I can understand, just at a general level, I think college is a waste of time and money at this point.
It's like insurance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, insurance saves you from paying more money, but it's still like, yeah. I get it. Like, it sucks. It sucks. So, all right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I would say we can go ahead and jump into some of your VR chat experiences, like what that's been like for you. So, how did you hear about VR chat? How did you get involved with the platform to begin with?
Do you know the way?
Ah, classic. Yep.
Do you know the way? Yes.
Yeah.
Those goddamn red knuckles.
Yep.
Running around. I was one of them. I was one of the desktop. I saw it on YouTube. I was like, what is this? Why is it blowing up? And I actually tried downloading it and go to one of those worlds and got myself a knuckle and kind of just like join.
Yeah, Uganda knuckles.
Yeah, I kind of had fun, not gonna lie. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was around 2018, 2019, yeah?
17 actually.
17?
Like
oh yeah, a little bit earlier.
Late 17. Yep.
Okay.
Somewhere November, December.
Okay. So so you were already a meme lord before you even got into VR chat, huh?
Hey, it lives in my blood. What can I say?
Okay. And so basically that's how like VR chat started for you. So how did your experience with VR chat evolve from there? Obviously, you don't see really Ugandan knuckles anymore. It's not as prominent anymore. So I guess as someone who is very heavily involved in the Ugandan knuckles, we'll call it a movement. That's giving a little bit too much credit, but we'll call it that. Like, how did your time in VR chat evolve? Like, once that kind of toned down, and like, when did that tone down for you?
I think I'm at like a low point of playing VR chat at the moment. To be honest, nowadays I just get on to record my videos and maybe hop on the weekends to join my friends to drinks and stuff. I don't usually like get on for hours, 2 hours, just to run around and stuff. It really hurts my eye because I already stare at the screen at my main job for a long time already, so I didn't want to slap on a headset that slap two screen in my eyes anymore. So yeah, my playtime is kind of go like this, and it just slowly flatline.
Okay. So do you have any like? I'm assuming you were in VR chat a lot during that period of time for Uganda Muckles. So
I was.
Yeah. So like, when did you realize that it was no longer like something that you wanted to spend your time doing?
I'm not quite sure understanding that question.
Oh, okay. I can reword it. So like, when did you realize that while you were spending a lot of time, memeing around, going to Publix, being just having a good time in VR chat, when did you realize that at what point did you feel that being in VR chat was no longer a priority for you? Or something that you wanted to spend your time doing, like in terms of, spending hours and hours in VR chat? When was the shift? What was the
Right.
turning point?
I would say that when I got my corporate job. So everything just kind of. So this is me just having all the freedom in the world to me working a full time job and then just being really tired right afterwards. So yeah, that drop off is that drop off is quite intense because I really have to spend more time recovering and taking care of myself more instead of having to just hop on here and just do whatever I want. So
Hmm.
I would say ever since I got the main job, I kind of
Which was around,
not prioritize it. Yeah,
yeah, which was
which
around
is
when?
2021, somewhere around there, late 21 to early 22. That's when I really locked in on my main job and no longer prioritize the VHF playtime.
Hmm. Okay, okay. Do you like what is your feeling about VR chat now? I don't like to say feeling. What do you think about VR chat now compared to how it
Perception.
used to be? Yeah.
Um, I would say it used to be a lot of fun actually. A lot less, toxicity and like the big problem with it is like drama and toxicity and you know the 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 PDF, like that's kind of like a big problem with every game to be honest with you. Um, but I try to stay away from that aspect of VR chat. I just I just use VR chat as a medium to create content and stuff. I don't use it for mostly interaction, if you know what I mean.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I get you. I get
That,
you. Yeah,
mhm.
I mean, it totally makes sense that like you like so so what was fun about VR chat back in 2017, 2018, 2019? Like, what made VR chat fun then, and is it just the toxicity and the changes? Like, because I think I would imagine there was toxicity back then. I imagine every experience in VR chat wasn't perfect, and like there were like people being
Mhm.
idiots back then too. There was people who were being assholes back then too. So what is the actual like difference of like level of fun and enjoyment that was present back then compared to now, do you think, like, and how do you perceive that?
Um, I would say I was really immature back then. I can turn something toxic into like a laughing matter, to be honest with you, because I don't do that anymore. But you know, for example, people being toxic. I don't know if you saw that, like the Phantom Sense tomato throwing trend on the TikTok. I
Nah,
don't know if you heard
haven't
of it,
haven't seen it.
but
No.
yeah, I would just turn into like I don't know something toxic to something that me and my friend group back then to laugh at. That's that's how we had fun as a group. But nowadays it's a little childish for for that.
Hmm.
So we don't do that anymore. That's why the fun level kind of dropped down a little bit because we need to grow up somehow.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. So like,
It changes with age.
oh yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. So like, comparatively speaking, I mean, how it seems like you had like 2019, or sorry, 2017 to 2020, let's say, and then you got the
Mhm.
job in 2021. Like that's like 4 years. It's 4 years between then and then, and like so you had a change in maturity level from that point, from that, or is it like, okay? Well, can you tell us about that, and like how that kind of affected you?
Right. Uh, I feel like it's all about just being mentally tired of just being toxic and just having fun in general. So, as I said, you need more time to recover from the job. And also, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I started to going to the gym and stuff too. So that kind of tackles on, the tiredness, the you know, the more time to recovery and stuff. So yeah, I need to grow up mentally and stuff, working on myself more.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What made you come to that conclusion? Because I think there are like a lot of people. Like I don't know how old you are. You're welcome to say if you want, but like I believe there are a lot of people who are like around your age group who are still very much kind of engaging in the same debauchery, we'll say, that you used to do for back then. So it's been like 4 years at this point since you got your corporate job, and when you look back, like I guess, like, why do you think that you were able to grow up, and like how do you see people like nowadays who may be doing like very similar stuff? Because I'm sure like as a content creator you see what other people are doing like on YouTube and other places. So like what's your thinking about that? I guess the maturity level of VR chat, will say.
Right.
Like what does it mean to like grow up and to grow out of the things that you did? Because it happened pretty fast, it seems like, for you.
Yeah, to be honest, for me, it just happened like a week after I get the job. So I didn't have time to play more game. I didn't have time to play as much game as I could anymore. So I kind of just have to force the recover, and then just focus more on the main job and stuff. And I lost my train of thought. But
maturity of VR chat. I mean, maturity of VR chatters, and like people being around the same age as you and still acting pretty immature at points in time. Like what do you think about that?
I would say it depends on the environment and the friends that they make along the way. I feel like friends really shape how you perceive the world and how you act as a person as well. So yeah, I was lucky enough to keep some of my college friends that really are matured. They are like about 5 to 6 years older than me. So I keep hanging out with them. So that's how they were shaping my mental to be more like, you need to do this, you need to lock in, you need to act more adult-like instead of the other way around. So.
Okay. Do you have any particular? Well, we'll see. We'll go with this. I know we use VR chat largely as a content creation platform, essentially, at this point. But do you have one thing that you've noticed about VR chat that's substantially changed from someone who has seen the platform from way back when? What's one thing, or if you have a couple of things, that's fine too. What's one thing that you've seen that's substantially shifted in terms of VR chat's existence that you've noticed?
I would say modding. VR chat used to be able to be modded to add a bunch of cool stuff. I feel like they cut that out completely just to re-add it and monetize those features that we used to have for free just by downloading the mod. I'm staying neutral on that. I'm not saying it's bad. It's really good for newcomers and stuff, because it's relatively easy to use. You just get VR Chat Plus and you have most of the cool stuff that they have. Just like the spawnable, the bubble gun that you have. I feel like, yeah, most of the stuff that was pulled from the old system, the modding system, I would say. The modding was really cool.
Okay. So do you not see that level of coolness these days, now that's solely VR chat having full control over what kinds of, I guess, mods, for lack of a better term, that exist.
Yeah, there's this one mod that you can literally just go around and go into your avatar and change into whatever avatar you want. Now you need a word for that. You need to go to this world to get this avatar or that avatar. It's just low. They took the smoothness out of the game and replaced it with kind of like, monetary reasons, and which I have nothing against.
Yeah, can you explain that particular one about like switching avatars? Because I'm pretty sure like you can like click on a person, and as long as they have avatar cloning on, you can take their avatar. Right.
So there used to be a system there you can add that mod in. It's basically Prism avatar search. I don't know if you know what that world.
I know that world. Yeah.
It's literally built in onto your menu, so you can just look up a name of an avatar of what you want. You can just change it right then and there.
Oh.
You can just put in a name of avatar. For example, Kokonatsu. Put that in, and you probably see a bunch of them, because public ones only. No private avatar, because that would be against the TOS.
Right.
That would be no good. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. Like I'm from the later generation of VR chat players. I came in May 2022. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
you would.
yeah, there's a lot that I've missed. But like I got in like on the very tail end of like VR chat's like older style like menus and stuff before they revamped the whole UI and everything. So like I got him just around when that happened. But there's a lot that happened like in the past that I didn't know about. But because I'm very inquisitive, I tend to ask people and talk to people, and that's why when people talk to me about VR chat, I tend to act like I've been in VR chat since 2019. Even though I've only been here for 3 years. So, but that's just me being curious and doing the kind of work that I do. But that's interesting that like that there was something like that existed back in the day. I didn't know that those kinds of mods. I knew there were mods, and I knew that that EAC kind of blew things out of the water at that point and kind of shifted a large portion. It was like the first iteration of, at least from what I'm aware of, the first iteration of VR chat saying, creators, you have to take a back seat to what we need to do in terms of what we want, how we want to move the company forward. So, like, did you have any thoughts about that, since you're from, the very early VR chat? Did you have any thoughts about EAC and, things that kind of are going on now these days?
Yeah, it was. I feel like people were actually making money from making those mods for players and stuff, because they can put like special tiers on Patreons and stuff to add on to those mods that they made already. So yeah, I feel like EAC really destroyed some careers, I would say, from people that made really cool mods and stuff. Really slashed the creativity from a lot of people. But they're slowly introducing most of those features back, which is okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing against it again. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like you can speak freely here. Like, VR chat very much knows about this podcast. They are not. They know that I exist to some degree, even to a minor degree. But like, I'm all about kind of just getting people's feedback and thoughts about things. I'm not here to slander VR chat. I love VR chat. Again, like I'm not just saying that because I'm using their platform. Like, I legitimately, like, VR chat has legitimately changed my life, and I say this with like pretty much all of my guests. I have a reason to like saying that like I love VR chat. So like, I know a lot of people are very like, oh, I don't want to talk shit about VR chat, but like, if you care about something or you enjoy something, you should be willing to be constructive about it in terms of your criticism. So we're not out to we're out to slander the platform. I just want to get a better sense of what people think about it, especially people who have been on the platform since a very, very long time. Since you got in at 2017, VR chat I believe came out in 2015. That's where it first kind of became well known, or just it just kind of emerged. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I find it very fascinating to get an old timer's perspective on it, because you're one of the early ones on the platform. So that's awesome. It's really awesome.
I would say. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. So, what's one thing about VR chat that you really appreciate? And it can't be the people, it can't be the community. And what's one thing that you wish could improve about VR chat?
Right. I would say the ease of use of the camera now. Um, I used to use a package to have like dolly system, like the camera would move from point A to point B, or in a certain orientation that you want. They're starting to add that now, but they put it behind VRC Plus.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it's behind VRC Plus. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a fan of the dolly, so I don't have to use the. To be honest, I gatekeep this this camera for the longest time because I was making that kind of dynamic shot alongside with one of my content creator friend. So yeah, have some creative shot with the moving cameras and stuff. I'm currently a big fan of the camera system, the dolly system that they have.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I think the spawnable object can be something really cool as well. It's got potential, but they still need to add a lot more to make it appealing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. And what's one thing that you think could improve about VR chat?
I would say optimization, so to speak. So somewhere would be really optimized. I don't know if that's the world creator problems or just overall VR chat. Oh yeah, I would say the latency between conversation. The delay there is always a pain in the rear, because it's really hard to record and synchronize some of your action with another fellow creator and stuff. It's one of the bigger pain point that I have. Hence why I kind of prefer to just green screen all my stuff. Makes it easier, and yeah.
Okay. I don't quote me on this, but I do believe there's some sort of tool that a creator made that does allow for better latency between characters. It was I don't know who developed it, and I don't know like where it is, but I do remember it being very, very like, it was modified. It was meant specifically for people who are like doing filming to cut down on latency. So like when you move, they will see you move like in a faster, like in more in tune with less latency. And I think there's something out there that's similar to that. But it would be nice if there wouldn't need to be a tool for that. But I believe it is some sort of tool. Maybe I have it saved somewhere. But yeah, I mean, just putting it out there.
Yeah, I think I've tried that before, but I think it made my frame rate suffer quite a bit to just trying to synchronize everyone's action and stuff. So yeah, I don't think it's fully there yet, but the concept is there, and I think I will look more into it if I were to work with a few of my friends in the future. So that would be nice. That would be a nice tool to use.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. But yeah, like I would say a good number of world creators, to my knowledge, it is largely a limit. I would say it's a limitation of both VR chat and world creators, depending on how talented or how knowledgeable the world creator is in terms of optimizing their world. A lot of from other world creators I've talked to, the ideal is to a world should be about as big as, or have as much space as like an avatar. So like it should be like a world should be built and have the same kind of not data set, but just in terms of its capacity, like its memory should be like an avatar akin to that, and that would mean like the world is properly optimized to that degree. But that's very hard to do for a lot of people because they want to have like very high quality textures and things of that nature. So it does make optimization very challenging to do. From, again, I'm not a world creator, but it seems like it's very challenging in that regard. But I also do think that there are limitations because world creators have to work under the I believe it's like the SDK2 system, and essentially everything, and also the limitations of Unity, where VR chat has basically kind of locked in a particular version of Unity, which also creates limitations with world creation. So there's a number of things that go into that, and I'm sure a world creator can talk about it more concisely than I can. But I wanted to at least kind of put that out there since you kind of were wondering if it's like a world creator issue or a VR chat issue. I think it's a little bit of both. A little bit of both, I would say. Yeah,
I would say so too myself.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
yeah. Do you consider VR chat a game or something else?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say it's more like a social. I wouldn't say it's a game necessarily. Well, you can actually play game on here, but it's more like a social platform that you can get on and basically have another life, another version of you, have even more friends to hang out with, stuff like that. So yeah, I would say it's more of a social experience than a full-on game.
Okay. And as someone who recognizes that VR chat allows for the ability to essentially have another life, have you experienced that in any capacity?
I came close to it, but not quite there yet, because I still prioritize my IRL self more than I do with my virtual self. My virtual self is cool and all, but all it's gonna matter is your real person. So
So what do you think about the idea of people essentially spending hours and hours, as someone who used to, how do you and I guess the idea of having that coincide with the idea of spending a lot of time in VR chat and building a new identity for yourself. Do you think that's a healthy thing, or do you think that's something that is causing people to perhaps lose sense of their responsibilities in reality?
Oh, that's a damn good question. I would say just play the game. Play. I'm calling it a game now.
God, yeah.
Okay.
And you said game before a lot before.
Yeah. Use. There we go. Use. Depending on how you use this platform, it can be beneficial to you or it can be harmful to you. So, again, depend on who you hang out with, and basically who you surround yourself with, and the environment that you're in as well in real life really affects how healthy or unhealthy you can be, I guess. So yeah, it really depends on one person to another. It really depends. So I really don't have a definite answer to
Has VR?
whether it's
Okay.
being really good or bad.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, it's okay to have an opinion, like your perspective on the idea of it as someone who, once did that and now not so much anymore. So I appreciate your perspective on it. I had a question. I had another question. What is your... Yeah, my mind just blanked there for a second. That stinks. Wow. Yeah, I just lost my train of thought. That sucks. Okay. Anyway, that's okay. That's fine. So, what do you think about like the various cultures that exist here? Like, there's a lot of people who drink a lot. There's a lot of people who have a lot of different kinds of experiences here. World hopping, drinking, clubbing. Like, what do you think about all of that? And like, yeah, what's your thinking on that? Do you think that's like, I mean, do you think that's cool? Do you think it's nice? 'Cause again, you're someone who comes into VR chat to make content and hang out with your friends occasionally, but like, as someone who doesn't spend a whole lot of time in VR chat, where like, do you see enjoyment in those things? Like, do you think that they're cool? Like these new evolutions of crowds and groups and scenes in VR chat that have come into being. And do you think those are good things? Do you think they've been very, very good, positive, or perhaps just another way of distracting people from reality?
I feel like it's mostly positive, but yeah, if you're spending like too much money on alcohol and stuff, that can be a problem as well. Because yeah, in real life you got a responsibility, as you said, to save your money, do whatever. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool to party, to have the ability to party in VR and stuff. So yeah, I have no negative things to say about that. So I think it's pretty cool to be able to drink with your friends and just have fun, just do whatever.
Did that exist? Like, did like raves exist back in the day when you were spending a lot of time in VR chat? Was that like a thing that happened still?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If anything, it got even like more popular and better than how it was. But yeah, the raving scene, clubbing scene was there in the beginning, just not as flashy or creative as today. So it really has evolved over the years, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have Phantom Sins?
$1 million question, huh? Unfortunately, I don't. Even though I did try in the past to activate it, I couldn't. Maybe just my imagination isn't, good enough. So yeah, I really can't feel anything on my avatar if she's being touched or anything. So yeah, my answer is no, unfortunately. Even though I really want it though, because it sounds really nice, because you can feel the head pad, you can feel the touch. It's
Yeah.
a little something.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. It can only I figure out the secret to activating mine. It's certain substances, we'll say. Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say something. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I figured out how to activate mine. So yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, we can talk more about that later if you want. But yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's exactly healthy, but everything in moderation. So it's fine. But that's how I kind of figured out how to like trick my brain essentially, because I had the same issue. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Well, let's go ahead and shift to we'll get into the meat and potatoes of like what you're about and what you do, the content stuff.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So.
What do you want to know?
Okay, I got a lot to ask. So, what got you into it? We'll start from the very beginning. What got you into the whole thing in the first place?
What got me into it, huh? I always wanted to make videos and entertain people, I used to play a lot of like games and stuff and just throw randoms, just play or just faceless content commentary over my videos and stuff and just post it on YouTube and see if it sticks or not. No, it didn't. So I quit for a long time and came back very recently, like 2021. Yeah, I start content alongside with my, my corporate job. Um, I really wanted to do two things at once to see which one I'm better at. So I'm kind of like pushing my limit in real life and editing at home at the same time. So I really wanted to level up my editing slowly. So yeah, that's why I kind of started creating content and to see how far I can push myself.
And what would you say, like, aside from, getting into it and having like a initial motivation of doing it, like, what was the trigger to kind of like, oh, this is interesting to me. I would like to look into this. So like even further back.
Right. I would say the very few content creators. I forgot their name. I think Drumsy. I don't know if you heard about Drumsy.
I know
He
what Drumsy
makes,
is. Yeah.
Like, yeah, long form content about informative content. He makes skits on VR chat, but really a good lesson afterward. So I enjoy watching his videos. So I'm like, what if I do that, but in short form? Because I knew short form was still a new thing and slowly rising. So I kind of like wanted to join the wave and base my content on the trending, like all the trends and stuff.
And when was that? When did you start watching Drumsy and get inspired to want to try?
That's probably back in like 2019, 2020, back in the COVID eras. He really carried the COVID era for me. So also there's this one creator called iLulu. I don't know if you know them, but
the name is
little
familiar.
silly dog. Yeah, the little silly dog that they make really funny skit back then, to me at least. Yeah, I was like, I can do that. I can do that better. And yeah, I just kind of like start creating. I didn't take any like shortcut and stuff. I jumped right into after. Oh yeah, that might be suited for another question. It's
No, that's fine. That's fine.
program I use and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah,
You can go into it.
yeah, I jumped right into After Effects and Premiere Pro, which are probably the two hardest editing program that a beginner can pick up.
Yes, I would say so.
I
Yeah.
literally jump in. Yeah, I was kind of just jump into a fire and hopefully I can survive. And yeah, I learned a lot from it. Learned the basics. I learned the the interface, the flow of how you should be able to edit your video and stuff. So yeah.
Okay. You also mentioned Vine. How did that influence you at all?
It rotted my brain a little bit. It started to how do you say it? It's like dark humor. Like the humor and the stuff really stuck with me as a content creator. But I try to sprinkle a little bit of Vine comedy in my video. So I think that's maybe why it's nostalgic. It's it's relatable to everyone. So,
What was it about? I mean, aside from the brain rot aspect of it, what did you find? I guess most useful in terms of like what did you learn from observing content creators before you, like on Vine and Drumsy and iLulu? Like what did you take away from them to kind of bring into your own work?
I would say not their style of editing, because that would be my own. it's how they structure their videos. It's gotta be an introduction, like a builder, and then a climax, and then a conclusion. So to me, every video has to follow that order to be able to satisfy your audience. So I was just watching a lot of Drumsy to see how he built up the story, how he, talked about the problem, and how he give really satisfying resolution and conclusion to whatever he was building up toward. So the structure is probably what I learned most from bigger creators.
Okay. And and so what did your first attempts in creating content look like? Did you start in short form, or was it something else?
No, it was like Let's Play, as I mentioned. I was really young back then. I was like 14 to 15. I was just playing GTA with my friends and just post it online and stuff, see what sticks. But ever since like 2021 rolls out, when I downloaded After Effects and Premiere Pro, I started to, watch a lot of YouTube videos on how to do certain things. So I kind of like started out with short form first, because my long form failed from past experience, and the short was slowly rising up. So I decided to stick with shorts and work my way up.
Okay. Yep. All right. Where did you get started? I will imagine you got started on YouTube, because I obviously YouTube was first in line before TikTok. So you started on YouTube, obviously. So from there, I guess where did you end up, kind of like, in terms of your first attempts at short form? How did that go? And then what did that look like for you, like your first initial attempts at short form content?
I was embarrassed. I'm looking at my first video now. I'm like, what the hell was I doing? Man, that quality was so bad. So funnily enough, is my first posting on Twitter. That was my first platform.
Okay.
When I came back to short form. Well, not came back, but started short form. I started on Twitter, and then TikTok next, and then YouTube.
Oh, really? Okay. Wow. Okay. Wow. Oh, you put me in my place.
It's come
well,
from
shit.
YouTube.
Okay.
So it's from YouTube. Short, long form videos failed, so I canceled that completely, and then I kind of switched to Twitter. Then I see Twitter numbers was doing decently, and then I started TikTok alongside that, and then until a year later, I started YouTube back up again. And YouTube kind of just outperformed these two platforms. Like, to these days, I still don't know how how the hell they pushed me so fast and stuff. So yeah, it was nice to see.
Like,
Yep.
So in terms of so your TikTok stuff, like, I guess obviously it makes sense to move to TikTok, because that was like up and coming back when it first came around. Like, God, there's so many ways I can ask a question, and I'm like getting stun locked, because there's many questions I want to ask, and I'm trying to like navigate through all of them. What is your what is
Why Twitter?
well
Right.
well, no, not so much why Twitter. I understand why you would start with Twitter. It was the biggest social media platform at the time, and it would make the most sense for the content you're trying to create. Obviously Twitter. So that makes sense. But moving to TikTok, I suppose, like, why would you decide to take a risk on TikTok, if it was a risk for you at all?
I didn't want to spill this information, but it was either TikTok or the other blue site, if you know what I mean.
Wait, the other
You know,
blues?
I
Wait,
took a gamble.
TikTok isn't a blue site. It's not a blue site. Wait, TikTok or Twitter?
TikTok or the blue site.
Oh,
Twitter was blue back then.
Twitter.
The
Yeah,
other
Twitter.
blue site means.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I got. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, it was either that blue site or TikTok.
Okay.
I had to make a good decision here on. I didn't want to see people as. I mean, I didn't want people to perceive me as just a, like a thirst trap person. So I didn't want to leave that legacy for myself. So I decided on TikTok.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I didn't go. I was very close. I was so close. It was this close. It was either TikTok or that. I'm so glad I chose TikTok though. Never look back.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yet.
Yet.
But yeah.
So what was good about TikTok? Because it seems like you got on the ground floor of TikTok around when it first began. So, what made TikTok such a good platform for you? And your personal perception of TikTok, not in terms of the content that you were making, but in terms of just the platform as a whole. What made you want to choose TikTok, and how has it been treating you?
TikTok was slowly rising up as we,
Yeah,
like TikTok, YouTube, and everything was, Instagram too was competing for that. So, but I think I forgot what made TikTok so popular. I think it was the popular dancing stuff. Yeah, I think it had the most music. There we go, music.
Yeah, because it was
It was
based
all
off
about the
of
music.
another app, which was, I forget the name of it, but yeah, it was based off of that other app that was
Musically.
yeah, Musically, yes.
was it.
Yeah.
So Musically transferred to TikTok, and it kind of stayed there. YouTube was only for like original content and not so much of sound base, if you know what I mean. Because if you use a sound from another creator, they would basically get whatever money you make from that video, and the artist of that song will just grab all your money. So that wasn't a good choice to start with YouTube first, because Short didn't even exist on YouTube back then when I first started TikTok.
Yeah.
So it was a clear choice to move to TikTok first, to test out the water and test out all the sound and the music that really propel the content.
Okay. Can you break down what your, like, I'm gonna be jumping back and forth from like TikTok, YouTube, the actual just core content creation portion of things. Like, I'm gonna be jumping kind of back around those. So can you walk us through your process of making a short?
Okay, where do I even start?
Well, okay. Well, you can start like I would say like from like initial idea, conception of idea to final production.
Right. To basically come up with one idea, I would have to scroll through TikTok, YouTube, and basically all other social media platforms to pick out maybe 10 ideas at least. And if one idea is easy to do, I will pick that one first, and then pick the complicated one later. And yes, some of the video are totally original, but some are just like lip sync and repurposing of the original content. So yeah, I would just take one of those first and do the easy one first, and get it out the way so you get, more engagement and stuff. And then I start with the medium lip sync or repurposed content, and then I will leave the original content later, because it's really difficult to come up with original content, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Not to the point that you would spit out content maybe like 3 days a week or so. It's really difficult.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And
Yeah.
and what about the what about your editing process?
Ooh, okay. Yeah. To bring back the structure from what I learned from bigger creator stuff, I would still use that for, my main editing steps and stuff. I would start with the intro, and then the build up, and then the climax, and then the resolution conclusion. I try to follow those exact orders, and yeah, I would get on the game and record all the footage that I would need, maybe 3 to 4 times per take, so I have more variation to work with
Mm-hmm.
when I edit the video. So
Okay. Hmm. How long does editing usually take you for, you mentioned 3 different types of content that you
damn.
do. Like how long does it usually take you?
Um, the really easy one can take probably like 10 to 20 minutes max. The lip sync can take up to an hour because of all the captioning that you have to do, all the, audio syncing that you have to do, from footage to the original sound that you're repurposing. And then comes the original one. The original one can take probably 2 hours to 2 days.
Hmm.
So the longest video I have worked on is the recent one that I have to come up with the background myself. I come up with, the text and how the text moves and stuff. And that took a lot of learning and stuff. So it was just not straight up editing. It was just editing, watching a video. Oh, how to do this? Come back at it, and then I get stuck again, and then keep jumping back and forth between editing and learning new things
Hmm.
for the original content. So it's a lot more involved than just chopping and cutting and syncing. So
Do you find it fun? Well, a question. Which part of the creative process do you find the most enjoyable, and which do you find the most, undesirable, we'll say?
I would say the editing is the most fun part for me. Surprisingly, I know everyone hate editing.
I hate editing.
Yeah.
I do.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I dreaded editing at first, but once I start learning the pattern and how to do stuff more efficiently, it becomes a lot more fun than physically acting out. Like all of my stuff are body acted. So when I get home from work or gym, I just want to crash out instead of just having to get on and just move my body around. By that time, it's already sore. So.
Mm-hmm. Why not just have one of your workout days be recording days? That's like cardio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I reserved it on Saturdays.
Okay.
So before I were home with my friends, I would, jump off first and record some of the content.
Hmm.
I'm gonna take a sip of water.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Okay. So, when it comes to what you do, like just in terms of content creation, why do you think that your content caught on the way that it did? I'm just gonna throw some numbers at you. You've amassed over 1.1 million followers between TikTok and YouTube, and according to my research, you've actually earned 800K plus subs on YouTube within a year. So, what do you think makes your content so, I guess, attractive, so consumable?
Okay. I don't know if I should answer this because some stuff I know it might be a little. I would just throw out the general reasoning.
Yeah.
So I would say going with what's trending and what's viral. At the time, it was Jujutsu Kaisen, the anime that really, you know, brings in a lot of viewers and stuff. So I would make content about Jujutsu Kaisen while inserting my original character within that universe, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I don't solely use Jujutsu Kaisen as in my content, but I insert my character in there as a character itself to interact with, you know, all these other characters that's already popular. So piggyback, it's almost like that. It's don't like it's you're gonna have a hard time, creating your original image and stuff. But for me, it was piggybacking. Piggybacking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, piggybacking.
Piggybacking on what's already working. So voila, you got the formula. So you keep doing it. You keep doing it until you find more audience, and those audience will share those around, and more people will come to you. But try to make the the content more authentic as possible, because the Jujutsu Kaisen avatar is available for the public, so anyone can jump on the trend and do it. So I was lucky enough that my content stick because of the humor I got from Vine to the structure I got from bigger creator that came before me. So I kind of combine a bit of everything: virality, structure, scripting, and everything.
What is the most important thing to keep in mind when it comes to making a short in general?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Here. What's the most important thing that a person should keep in mind when they're trying to make a short? And I know you touched on a number of things just a second ago, but is there anything like very specific that a person should try to do? Like, let's say they're just starting out, and they want to create shorts. Like, what should they be trying to do, and how should they be going about, should they be trying to make something viral? Should they be trying to make something that's authentically them? Should they just be copying what other people have done? How has it worked? How I know how it's worked for you. We've shared how it works for you, but how would you say that others should go about it? What do you think?
So the hook is the most important thing of a short. The first 3 seconds, you gotta make your viewer engage with your content already. So maybe like ask I did this to get this within certain amount of time, and then you basically lead them on. Yeah, you basically put out a problem, and then you soon solve the problem for them within a short amount of time. But because short form is really like rapid in your face type stuff, so the longer you delay that problem in the beginning, like take too long to introduce the problem, the viewer will start losing interest, and your view just wouldn't move. So I would say for newer creators that hasn't made the name for themselves yet, I would say try implementing, more viral sounds, viral characters, beloved characters and stuff into your original content. You're not technically copying, you're improvising, I would say. Because when you start out, no one would know about you yet, and no one would care to know about you, like once you insert more already known character in there, would get more attention and stuff. So,
Okay.
if that makes sense at all. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like, I guess this is kind of this is within the context of VR chat, of course. So like a lot of what you're saying is within the context of VR chat. Would you say that's correct?
yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you have you gotten any sort of recognition for being, like one of the I would say I don't know if you are the largest VR chat content creator out there. I don't know. It probably maybe not. I have no idea. But have you gotten any sort of recognition for, being like using the platform and creating such interesting content for people?
Uh, I wouldn't say I have. I'm very low key about my content, so I was not like recognized for awards for anything. So I kind of just do my thing, even though there's like a best TikTok creator of the year. I was never invited, despite of me pulling these kind of numbers and people in the community. I don't know where the prize come from or who hosted it, but they're kind of like, I don't know. I don't know where the prize came from, but I just kind of do my own thing.
Gotcha. What is the value that you get out of content creation? Personal value.
I was probably satisfaction that I have made, along the way, and how my editing improves over time. Stuff. And making friends was never easier. I would say
I'm
so,
sure.
because I'm pretty introverted myself, as you already know. I don't usually come up to people and say hi. I'm really scared of that, the initial saying hi stuff. So I guess it's always nice to be around a circle of friends, and then people come join, and then they started talking. Usually they don't know who I am, as you mentioned in the beginning. So yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer it that way, to be honest. I don't want people to like, oh, Kokonatsu in the lobby. No, I don't want that. I want to be more discreet.
So you love the camera, and yet you don't like attention.
To put it simply, yes.
How do you how do you reconcile that?
Reconcile. That's a big word.
How do you just how do you justify like that conflict in your head? Like, you love to be in front of the camera, and yet you don't like attention. How do you kind of work that out in your mind and your psyche?
I'm not sure if I had it worked out yet. I'm not sure if I had it, completely ironed out, but I'm still working on that. I'm still trying to, blur the line between being camera shy or being shy around people. I'm trying to merge the two together, be more comfortable.
Do you want to be more outgoing? You want to be more social?
Hell yeah. I really want to. The more people I can talk to, the more I can help them, I guess. Helping people grow is another thing I would love to do, but I would probably say that they might be too intimidated to come up to me and ask. I don't know. If you ask me, I would be more than happy to help with whatever I can. So algorithm wise, short wise, content creation. I'll show you what I know.
So a random can just hit you up in the DMs.
Well, not a random, but like, I gotta know where your motivation lies. I gotta know what you're doing. I gotta know what your motives are to be able to help you, not just, hey, I'm gonna start content creating today. Can you give me advice? I can't do that. You gotta you gotta chill. You gotta figure it out yourself first, and if you get stuck, then you can come to me and like try things out for yourself first before you really ask for advices. So
Hmm. Okay, okay. So, as someone who has grown up, you've said that you've matured. Things have really changed for you. You're very very focused on your job and self improvement as well, and like you're out here making content and just having a good time. Um, do you ever feel that you are contributing to the ultimate distraction factor of many many young people who are struggling to find direction in life or have like any sort of like like you're creating content, but like do you feel like your content kind of is assisting with that distraction factor of the ADHD? Everyone has ADHD these days, and like it's kind of hard to know like who's actually has it and who doesn't. So like what are your thoughts about that in terms of like your own content and even like with respect to other content creators too?
I would say I read through comments as much as I could, and yeah, I probably helps a lot of people stay, stay positive, make their days better. I think I stopped a couple of, attempted, I can't say that word, but
Yeah.
I have helped them through, their comments and stuff, and I reply to their comment and, like, hope these videos help. Stay tuned for more videos like that, and then they just kind of like stop thinking about it and then just keep on watching.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say my content do help, especially with youngins, especially with those that are a little yeah,
Like a little on the younger immature side.
younger ends. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, okay. Um, why did you choose this style of content? Of being relatable slash, a little bit of like memeing thrown in. Like what made you want to go that route instead of something completely different, like streaming or like just another style of content?
To be honest, I think it was the most thing I was comfortable with. I can just make it without thinking, like just put my brain on autopilot and crank out the content, because the more people I entertain by being relatable, the better. So I would love to be more relatable if possible.
Mm.
And for the streaming, yeah, uh, it comes back to talking to people. I can't really like handle well with a live audience. I did try. I did try streaming VR chat on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. Oh my god, the chat. Oh,
Yeah.
the chat on both ends was
Yep.
just going back and forth. So my mind was I couldn't do it.
Mm.
I was crashing out later, but you know.
And like, were you
it was
already
about-
like were you already Kokonatsu at that point? Like when you tried to do that,
Mhm.
and people
Yes,
are
I
like,
was.
were people like excited to like see you stream? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I didn't stream until like very later of my YouTube career. So it's fairly recent, the streaming thing. It was, I think it was just like 4 months ago. I started, like, I wasn't even gonna stream at all, but I said I was gonna try everything, so why not just jump into it?
Mm.
I found out quickly that it's not made for me. Even though I would love to talk more to my fans and stuff, but I feel like I was wasting more of my time and their time than actually entertaining them. So, you know, I pull back on it.
Gotcha. Hmm.
Yep.
Let's see. What do you?
I made a mistake of not eating before this, but it's okay. We should keep going.
Yeah. Well, what is do you find that your time in VR chat is, and like being you? I know you're very low key about it, so I guess it's not really much of an issue for you. But do you worry that people that you meet for the first time are, when they find out what you do you think they'll, do you worry about people perhaps trying to, like, you know, use you, or like, oh no, I know Kokonatsu, a big content creator on TikTok. Like, do you have any like considerations about that? Does that cross your mind at all? Or it doesn't not matter to you?
They know me. If they use my name for views, I don't care. To be honest, I don't really mind if people, you know, be like, oh, I know Coco. If you do, you do. I guess that's good for you. But you know, as long as they don't copy my stuff or just use my stuff for monetary gain, then I'm okay with it. It's whatever works best for you, man. I don't know.
Can you pinpoint when was the moment when you realized that you were growing and that you were actually like really making impact on people, like with your videos, with your content? Like, what was the point where you realized, oh, this is actually going somewhere, type of deal?
I think back when I had 1,000 subs on YouTube. I think that's where everything shifted, because I went from, I think, 1,000 to 10,000 in like 4 days, and then from 10,000 to 100K in like a week or so. It's really crazy to me. I don't know how it happened, but it just kind of like happened over a few nights, and yeah, yeah, I just don't know how it happened.
Okay.
I just stick to the formula of what I can do best. How much I can produce a week, how good I can make the video look. So it's just kind of build upon each other, and just the next thing you know it.
So it was that's funny that you say it was on YouTube that you found that that was the point where you realized that this is actually something that is working, because like you were on TikTok first, so like,
Right.
and like I would say I believe I guess you have way more followers on YouTube than you do on TikTok, because I believe on TikTok you have like 34K followers, something like that.
On
TikTok. Yeah.
TikTok, I think I had 30-ish something, but I think I have 300K-ish now.
Yeah, it's 300. It was 300. Yeah.
But yeah, TikTok was my most followed platform. But ever since I saw the growth from 10K to 100K on YouTube, I knew I have to lock in on YouTube more than I do with TikTok. So even though both platform was growing, I saw potential in YouTube more than TikTok, because it wasn't paying me anything. TikTok wasn't really paying me for anything, because they went from per view for money to a minute-long video. I don't know why they did that, but you gotta make a minute-long video in order to make some money out of it. And then YouTube is basically how long can you keep your viewers engaged with your video. That's how you make money on YouTube, and I kind of prefer that more over the 1 minute video. It's kind of pointless of a short platform to make a minute long video. Yep.
Hmm. Okay, okay. How long should a short be, by your estimation?
It really depends. But I say the sweet spot is around 15 to 17 seconds. That should be enough for you to tell your story or, you know, get whatever you need to say
Hmm.
to the audience.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, as someone who has watched content creators in the past and gained inspiration from them, what is your thoughts about? Um, I just lost my train of thought again. Wow. What is your thinking about why do people tend to fail in VR chat? Not VR chat, but in content creation, making shorts. What do you think is like? I'm sure you watch other content creators, whether they're big or small. So, what do you think is like their biggest weaknesses that you have identified by observing people who are doing content like you?
I would say the biggest problem with current content creator is inconsistency. They don't post enough. They would throw a video like one week they can have 2 videos, and then the next week 5 videos. Oh, that's nice and stuff. But then the next week there will be 1 video, and then the next 2 week, like they're inconsistent with their upload schedule and what they're making. So you gotta make the same type of content over a period of time consistently. Like that's what I did with my content. I gotta make 3 videos a week about the same topic or somewhat similar to what I'm doing. You can't just, you know, make a video about cooking and then the next video about racing. That doesn't make any sense.
Really?
That's one of the you gotta stand your ground to make you know, like stick to one single niche and be consistent with it. You can't just switch things up and depend, you know.
Hmm.
I don't know how to explain it, but you gotta stick to one niche and for a really long time to see if it sticks or not. If it doesn't, you can switch it up, but you can't just do one thing and then switch to another thing, switch to another thing, and then go back to that first thing you tried. It can work. It worked in the past, but it's very inconsistent. That's the main part,
So when
I would say.
so when you say like stick with one niche, do you mean like a certain topic matter? Do you mean like
Yes.
a like so let's say let's say someone is trying to create shorts based off of their stream, and the stream, like it's not the same stream, it's like a different, it's like shorts based off of different streams. Would you consider that an inconsistency of content? Like, so like if it's like they're playing one game and then they're playing a different game kind of deal,
Yes.
would that be seen as
Yes.
inconsistency?
I would say so. Yes. And if you don't stick with your streaming schedule, then you kind of being inconsistent as well.
Well, of
Just like
course.
me.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
But
But like when it comes to
yeah.
like the shorts type of thing, like how would you say that someone who perhaps doesn't use YouTube, not YouTube, but a VR chat, or maybe isn't a streamer, how would you suggest that they stay on like the same thing? Because like you're saying, you should do like 3 videos a week about the same topic, like cooking, or and then the next week do it about racing, or something like
Mhm.
that along those lines. So how would you say that? How can you like translate that into someone who doesn't use VR chat, or someone who's maybe not a streamer? Are you just kind of
Um,
recycling the same idea? Because like it feels like I think a lot of people think that they're recycling the same idea, and like they already done one
mhm.
thing once. So what about like how do you kind of keep it fresh while still staying in a certain topic?
I guess you don't like for example, let's take another in real life example. You want to get good at baseball, for example. You would practice baseball, right? You wouldn't practice throwing a football or something, or trying to kick the ball, because it doesn't relate to the baseball sport. So what you should focus on is how to bat better, how to throw better, and how to catch better, and how to run around better. So it's within those. You pick a niche, and that niche can expand out with all these different regions, and you gotta somehow tie them all together, if that makes any sense.
Hmm.
So if you want to get good at baseball, you wouldn't practice soccer, you wouldn't practice football, you practice baseball.
So what would that
If
would
that makes any
yeah,
sense.
I mean, what would that translate into, like someone sticking with a certain type of humor? Like you have to do the same type of humor every time. Would that be like a nice metaphor? Describe what you're saying.
Uh,
Because
let's
conceptually,
let's.
yeah, conceptually, I understand what you're saying, but like,
Mhm.
I mean, like, how does one do that when they're doing a variety of different content, and like, or maybe they want to do a variety of different content. So, like, is
You're
it
gonna grow a lot slower.
you can grow a lot? So, right, yeah,
Yeah. Mm.
okay. So I'm thinking of how to word this. Um,
Right. You
do
can take me as an
yeah,
example.
yeah.
I do Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen can be expanded to a different type of content. You can either do dancing content, just be in those avatar and dance. That's one of them. Another one can be comedy, where the 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 two character interact in a way that didn't happen in a show or related to the show. That's another niche, not niche, but region. And then there's this original content where you insert your original character within those universe stuff. So there's three types. You can somehow tie it into one niche.
And you're just making content about, like, or related to Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes, it can be either dancing video or comedy video or repurpose video.
But it's all within the framework of
Mm-hmm.
that. Okay.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yep. It's like you're cooking, but different recipe, basically.
Okay. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. You don't gotta make the same recipe over and over to get views. You can just switch up the recipe and see what recipe is most viral at the moment, and then just do that recipe for alternate between them.
So basically, people don't want to see a variety of things. They want to see the same thing. They like familiarity, is what you're saying.
Yes,
Is there a specific?
until
Yeah,
they
go ahead. Until they.
until they're no longer interested in that subject, they will switch on
Hmm.
into a different subject.
Well, how do you know? Like, how would you kind of avoid that if, like, all you're doing is like the same thing? It's like you're paying, if you have to pay attention to your numbers, like if there's like a drop off or something, to that degree.
Yes, there will definitely be a drop off. That's where you find new niches, because it's ever changing. So it doesn't stop at one niche all along. You kind of just have to wiggle your way around, be flexible, you know, be accustomed to change, I would say.
Hmm. So how do you keep things fresh and not get bored by just like I imagine you haven't like you have like hundreds of videos. So I would imagine like you're not just doing Jujutsu Kaisen.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
like how do you keep things
try-
fresh?
Yeah, I try my best to make skits that's not related to Jujutsu. Oh my god, I can't speak. Jujutsu Kaisen, but still relatable to my audience. So it's either about Jujutsu Kaisen that my audience love, or something that relatable to my audience. If that makes any sense.
I imagine that makes it
So
very. Oh, go ahead.
in
No, go ahead.
yeah, in any ways, you gotta provide values to your audience because your audience come first.
Hmm.
Yep.
And of course, it has to be something that you yourself are passionate about or interested in.
Mm-hmm. True.
Hmm. So, what is it about? So, I guess I'm still wondering how you manage to kind of keep things relatively fresh with like your content creation. Like, I know you're okay. Let me reword that. Let me rephrase that. You make relatable videos. How did you kind of land on the idea of doing relatable videos? And what does like is there like a psychology around, you know, doing those kinds of videos for like your audience and such? Or
Uh, I wouldn't say there's any type of like psychology or anything. It was just easy to make and easy to reproduce and easy to, keep on stacking on top of each other. If that makes any sense? Because yeah, any other type of content you would have to think about while doing, like what dance I'm gonna do, because dancing is completely different from relatability. So you would have to learn how to dance and stuff. So it's within the different niche of that.
so with everything that you've said, I imagine it becomes very, very challenging to make original content.
My point stands. Yes.
Yeah. So how do you kind of work around that? I mean, I know you mentioned before they have 3 types of content that you focus on. So, and those 2 are relatively easy and quick to make, and so the longer stuff takes a lot more time. So, I guess how do you create something new while also maintaining the same interests of your audience and keep your audience engaged by making something brand new? Like, it seems like it's a risk to make something brand new, is what I'm saying. Because like a lot,
It is.
yeah. So
It's a big risk.
yeah,
It's either they love it and they stuck around, or they hate it and they completely leaves you. It's a risk, and you really cannot control whether people stay or not. What you can control is the quality of the video, how much love or care or values you put into that video matters more than caring about whether people love it or not. So you really gotta learn your audience on what they want to see from you. So it really depends.
can you break down that idea of how does one get to know their audience?
How does one get to know their audience? Study the algorithm. Every platform have this graph and stuff. You can check your analytics, check your time zone, check what country they're from that watches you the most, check the age group. There's a lot of stuff within the analytics you can check through, see what your audience really like, if that makes any sense. The analytics will show you more than you think it will. That's all I can say.
Okay. So would you say just keep throwing things against the wall until something sticks?
Exactly. You gotta keep trying. You gotta keep iterating. You gotta keep innovating. You can't just post the same thing and expect it to perform well. You gotta, step it up a notch every single time while keeping it consistent.
Let me see. Does it feel any different for you that you have such a massive following across platforms? Like, does it feel any different for you in terms of like people like, I guess I've heard of content creators becoming very like overwhelmed or very like I guess self-conscious about having a large audience of people who have followed them or are supporting them in whatever shape or form. Do you find that to be do you find yourself feeling any different now that you are where you're at?
I wouldn't say so. I feel I felt like I would just started yesterday. I kind of like I don't even see myself as a big content creator. I just see myself as a creator instead of someone who have like 800K on YouTube. That's just a number, to be honest with you. It's how long can you keep your fan engaged?
So no pressure whatsoever.
I think, for the most part.
That's interesting. That's very, very interesting, honestly. I was not expecting that answer. I mean, I know you're very, very relaxed and very chill, but like I would find that someone who is so introverted would have some level of like, well, now I have to perform better. Now I have to do this and that better. Now I have to do like, now I have to make all of this work and I have to keep making things better. Because I have all these people watching me and counting on me. Like, you don't have any of those concerns at all?
I mean, I wouldn't be able to grow to what I am if I thought that way. So, I didn't really look at the numbers too much when I started growing. More like I took a look at my analytics. I studied my audience more than I study myself. So, if that makes any sense. So no stress. Just think of yourself as a creator instead of I'm up here. That makes sense.
Do you think that there is a value in having some level of distance between what you do as a content creator and how you live your own personal life? Because I find that it's pretty common for a lot of content creators to essentially attribute their success in a certain space to what they do in real life or who they are in real life. And what I mean by that is to kind of clarify my statement is there are people who I do think that there are people who are very much of the mind that that they have to perform at a certain level. They have to be a certain person, or that like who they are online is like that's everything. That's essentially their entire identity. And I know that you have a life IRL, so you have all that going on, which is perfectly reasonable. But I suppose where I'm trying to go with this question is, what is like, or do you have any sort of separation between Kokonatsu as a character, as a character that people watch, and I guess you yourself? Is there like a distance that you create between the two?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to let my mama know. I'm Kokonatsu in VR and stuff. So yeah, I would have that fine line of content creation and my IRL self. I would have to keep it separate. I wouldn't be able to be like, "Hey mom, I'm this YouTuber," you know. I can't do that. So.
Really? Is that just a cultural thing? Is that a cultural thing?
I wouldn't say it's cultural, but it's what I'm comfortable with, what I'm, or, yeah, what I'm comfortable with. I wouldn't want to let my family know about it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, that's pretty. I think everyone has like their reasons for not wanting to do that. I think that makes a lot of sense. How would you say? what should a person who's getting into content creation start with? It? Well, we'll say shorts because we're talking about you do specialize in short form content. So if someone's getting into short form content, what should that individual focus on first? And yeah, what should be the first thing they try to do and build upon? Because I think people can get overwhelmed about the prospect of getting into it.
Choose a good editing program. To be honest, just choose what you can stick with and what can be improved. I would say DaVinci Resolve or CapCut would be good programs to start with. So a platform that you can edit on, basically. Yep. And try to improve your editing as it goes on.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you think it requires a certain kind of mindset to do what you do? You know, posting 3 videos a week, having a day job, and going to the gym. Do you think that requires a certain kind of mindset, a certain kind of, dedication to do, or like
Yeah, it's
I
a lot of dedication.
Yeah, I've always said that like content creators have a screw loose. All of us have something that's not quite right up here that enables us to do what we do because it's a lot to do. It's very different. It's essentially entertainment on the internet. We're essentially entertainers in our own right. So I'm very curious as to like do you have like a specific kind of mindset about the whole thing, about being a content creator?
Made a commitment in the beginning, so I would grow both of my career at the same time, both being a content creator and being a full-time engineer and stuff. So made a commitment, and I would have to stick to it. So that's all I could say. Just stick to what you plan and try to not to stray away from it too much. Yeah.
Okay. Why do you? Well, I know you enjoy content creation. Obviously, you have to be able to do it for this long. But I guess why did you end up making that commitment? Like, what is it about content creation that drives you to maintain this commitment? Why is that so important to you when you're already doing what you're doing and working your way up the corporate ladder IRL?
I would say helping people put a smile on their face, or just prevent them from doing something could possibly harmful to themselves. As long as they can stay positive as I can, everything is good. So.
I would imagine that the idea of helping people and bring joy to people was something that you perhaps established once you started to see like people watching your stuff. Like it wasn't something that you had at the very beginning. So how has your sense of like this commitment that you made to yourself, how has that changed from when you started to where it is now, which you said, you want to put a smile on people's faces, help them through their day. So like, how has that changed for you? How has that shifted, if at all?
Yeah, it hasn't shifted at all. I just do what I can.
So
if I can't make myself happy, I gotta make others happy, one way or another.
So you start creating content with the intention of making people happy.
Basically. Yes. Put a smile on people's face. What matters.
Well, I'm going to hit you with something really philosophical. Are you happy?
Yeah. Yes. I'm very happy right now. Yeah, I think I'm where I need to be in life. I'm comfortable with a lot of stuff I have, and yeah, I would say I'm happy. Very, very happy.
Okay, great, and that's good to hear. It would be very difficult to make people happy when you're struggling to be happy yourself. Um, yeah, So, yeah. But the thing is, like, I do know that again, there are people who have a motivation in life, but at the same time, they use content creation as kind of an escape from whatever personal issues have going on in their life. Everyone has their own reason. This is why I say content creators all have some manner of a screw loose. We're all a little bit crazy in our own right. That allows us to create what we create, and sometimes it's people running away from their own personal issues. But I mean, it's good to hear that you're very much someone who is you're good. You are
Gucci.
yeah like you're
Very Gucci.
That's good. Like, I'm glad that you're actually like happy doing the content that that you want to create, and that's awesome. All right, nice. So so let me talk to you a little bit. Actually, wait. What are some significant differences between YouTube and TikTok? I want to ask you that.
Significant difference? I wouldn't say there is much difference between the two. I feel like the most difference is the music again. That circles back to what I said earlier. You can freely use music on TikTok more than you can use on YouTube, because you can get copyrighted and you can get strike down. They can put an X on your account, and if you violate 3 times, you can get your channel removed. So I would say YouTube is more strict toward you getting your money, and TikTok is probably easier for entry level content creators.
So
But they're both good platforms.
So which platform should a shorts creator start on?
I would say if you already have an audience on YouTube, stick with that. And if you're starting brand new, you should start with TikTok as soon as possible. Don't wait. Do not wait.
Did you have any opinions about like the TikTok controversy, which happened during the COVID era, like 2020, 2021-ish time, where they were like, oh, TikTok's taking your information, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people got a little freaked out about that. Like, did you have any thoughts about that at all, as someone who was using the platform or knew about the platform?
Like what kind of wait, like COVID hits, or
Oh, no.
the platform being sold?
Well, I mean, the platform being, being from a different country, and like, people who are running the country, and like the nature. There was a lot of fear that TikTok was, siphoning personal information from like Americans and such. Yeah. So I was wondering, like, what were your thoughts about that, if you had any?
I think I stopped posting when all that was going on. I stopped posting for a good 2 weeks. Let it kind of dies down a little bit. TikTok did get banned though, but it was only for 1 day.
Right.
Until Trump brought it back up again.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would stop posting entirely, because I don't know what would happen to the video and if the rumors are true or not. So I kind of just stay off the platform while all that was going on.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I did want to ask a little bit about that. It just occurred to me. So thank you for letting me know. All right. Cool. So I would like to talk to you a little bit. I'm not sure if we'll have a whole lot to cover here, but I do want to touch on your we'll say your member, and it's not really a membership, but it's more so like joining the Radiant team. Joining the.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would like to talk to you about that as well. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, like, what made you? I guess, how did you hear about them in the first place? We'll start there.
I would say Omega. Omega recruited me.
Hmm.
Omega was like, "Oh you should join Radiant. I'm like, what do they do? And they're kind of like a stream group, but yeah, I kind of joined because peer pressure.
Really? It was peer pressure.
Yep.
You let
Mm-hmm.
you let the blue doggo pressure you, huh?
Yes. Yes.
You got intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
You don't let the dogs intimidate you. Don't do that.
Yeah, they said they would release my feet pics if I don't apply. So yeah. I didn't want that to happen, so I kind of apply out of fear. So
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. All right. Okay. And like how's it been? How long? I guess yeah. How's it been so far for you?
Everyone has been very, very positive and friendly. I love Ava. Ava's good. Ava's yeah. Yeah. I have no complaints about the clan at all. They're very helpful toward the streaming stuff. So they help me get set up on the stream. It's pretty good.
Hmm. Are you like are you? I guess. Did you like what was the well? I'm not gonna ask about the process of like applying or whatever. I'm not gonna do that because I don't think you'll be able to tell me. So like. I guess, what is it about Radiant that drew you towards them, aside from having your feet pics released?
Oh, we gotta take that. Okay. No,
Hey, I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna. I just wanted to hang out more with them because they're genuinely people that I enjoy hanging out with, including Jay, including Ali, including all those wonderful beings. What can I say? They're good people. I would love to know them more and hang out with them. Maybe drink on the weekend.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean that's how I ran into you. Yeah, I'm just kind of hanging out with them.
There we go.
Yeah. So what is it about Radiant that you enjoy the most? Like what as a member of Radiant, what are some things that you enjoy about being a part of the team?
To be honest, I have not been interacting too much with them, but I would say warm welcome, communication was clear, everything that they helped me was setting up streams, setting up emotes and stuff, so that was really valuable to me.
So now that you're not streaming that much, like where does that place you in like how you interact with them? I know you said you don't interact with them that much or as much as you'd like to, but where does that kind of place you in the grand scheme of being a part of the team?
I do not know, to be honest. That it's more like how they view me right now that I'm not streaming as often anymore. So yeah, it's really up to them. I can't really say anything about that. So.
Okay. What drew you to Radiant when you first heard about them? I mean, aside from the people, like I would imagine there would have to be some sort of value proposition with like joining the team, and aside from just how welcoming everyone has been to you, like as a content creator yourself, you kind of have to look at these things because I think it's important to know like where you're kind of committing yourself to. So can you share a little bit about like what was your thought process with regards to wanting to join Radiant in the first place?
I would say to help get started with streaming because I was really lost on what to do and where to start on streaming and stuff. So I just need a heads up, and Ava was really good at that, so I thought, it wouldn't hurt to give this a try and stuff. So it was to get started on streaming, which I'm really bad at doing. It's starting things. So.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a few more questions to ask you. Where would you like to be in 2 years? not so much work related to location, but more so with your goals and ambitions. So, like, if you can tell us a little bit more about that, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
If this content creating thing really works out, I would love to actually quit the engineering job that I work so hard for. To pursue this content creating thing, because it's actually more freedom, I would say, because you are your own boss and you can work at your own pace, compared to, you know, the corporate where you gotta be at a certain time at a certain date and finish your certain task, which is not a lot of freedom. So I would love to completely chop out that 9-to-5 lives and move into more of a freelance content creator. So.
Yeah, so like I'm actually surprised you haven't really taken that route just yet, but I imagine that like the more you continue to do, like you're very, very consistent. Like I imagine that the more you kind of stick with what you have going on, it's only a matter of time before you can actually get going and actually go full time into this. Like with someone of your caliber and like your following, I'm actually surprised you're not already doing this.
It's sitting right in front of me right
Yeah, it really is. Like it's not that far away. So you know, keep up with the good work. You know, I'm sure that you'll get there eventually. Like, so like don't even worry about it. Like I know that when you get there, you'll hit the ground running and you'll have like all the bases you need to really kind of you know step it up and make it happen for you. So yeah, like, you know, keep it going, keep it moving, and yeah, and it's only a matter of time. Like I'm sure you'll get there. Like you're doing really well.
It's all about just getting more comfortable, getting more consistent with the stuff I produce, because I'm still at a point that I can still make videos, but like the niche is dying down a little bit, so it's not as consistent as how it used to be. So my graph looks like this. It completely, like, I wouldn't say flatline, but there's still some growth in there, but the growth has significantly slowed down ever since I started. Hence why I'm not comfortable quitting the main job yet, and that main job really pays for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So my next question for you is, what inspires you? I'm very curious.
Inspires me to content creating, or
like in general.
What inspired me, huh? I do not know. I do not know. I just kind of like living day by day and just hope for the best. Hope that I will be happy by making others happy.
So there's nothing out there that's like a guiding light for you, like in the midst of everything that you're doing. Like there's nothing that's really saying, oh, like this is what's gonna keep me on track and everything. Like nothing like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking of. Like I'm saying, yeah.
Not at the moment. Maybe one day. Maybe I'll figure it out. But at the moment, I'm just doing my best every day and hope for the best.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, so, if you could give any matter of advice to the people who are watching right now and people who will be listening, like if you could give them any matter of advice, it could be based on anything that we talked about today, it could be anything that we haven't talked about. So I'm curious, what advice would you give to the people who are listening in right now? It could be about anything. So, like, what are you thinking? I'm kind of curious what you think about that.
I would say start early. Start now. If you're thinking about it, do it. Don't delay. Because the further you delay, the idea is gonna start to leave you. So start now. Be consistent. Yeah. Try your best to look out for trends, virals, videos, and stuff like that, and be consistent. That's the best advice I can give to a new creator. Be consistent. Consistent about your niche, consistent about your posting time, consistent about your motivations.
Okay. All right. And so, where can people find you?
I think if you just chat GPT it or just Google it, Kokonatsu, I'm sure you will find me. But maybe move the 0 around, depending on the platform. So, to be honest, I can't remember where I placed the 0 in each of the platform. Because it can be so random sometimes.
Yeah, I imagine that's pretty inconsistent. Like, it's hard to keep track of that.
I guess if you just look up Kokonatsu, you'll find me, one way or another.
All right. Well, for those of you who are tuning in, if you're tuning in live right now, you can find me over at YouTube, Nepherti with one eye. You can also find me if you're watching this on YouTube right now, you can find me over at twitch.tv/Nepherti to see more episodes. It'll be down below. And you can also find me at Twitter at Nepherti with the same spelling with 2 Y's as well. And if perhaps you may be looking for anything that's related to the podcast itself, if you want to know anything more about the guests that we're having on the show, you can absolutely follow us over at Sweet Talking Pod. I think that you'd be able to keep up with everything over there as well. And so I think you'd really benefit you. So, I'll leave that up to you. And also, of course, if you'd like to support me in everything that I do, you're more than welcome to check out patreon.com/Nepherti. It's a great way to support what I'm doing. If you just want to get access to all of the post conversations that we have with all of our guests here on the podcast, you can always check that out starting at $3. And if that's something that you're interested in doing, that's totally okay, totally up to you. But I'll leave that up to you to decide. But it's there if you'd like to support what I'm doing and you'd like to support the show as well. Totally up to you, totally your call. And we'll kind of leave it at that. So I want to thank everybody who's been tuning in. Everyone who's been watching the show. I really do appreciate you all very, very much. So, thank you all for tuning in to this episode. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the post-conversation tonight. But I do want to thank Kokonatsu for being on the show. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. We really learned a lot from you tonight. Basically, about your content creation technique, about being consistent and keeping an eye on your audience. And that's really been really, really insightful to hear. And I really hope that people learned something from our talk tonight and that they got something out of it. So thank you again so much for being on. Like we really talked about a lot tonight. So thank you so much. Yeah.
It was my pleasure as well. Hope you guys learned something.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. Like there was a lot going on. So there was definitely a lot of insight that you shared. So thank you so much for tuning in to episode 67 of the Sweet Talking Podcast. I've been your host, Nepherti, joined by my guest, Kokonatsu, and I certainly hope that you guys will tune in to the next one. There's a lot more episodes coming down the line, a lot more guests that are already lined up, and I think that you guys will very much enjoy what we have in store for you. So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you all for your support. I really appreciate you all so much. And thank you, Kokonatsu, for being on the podcast. And with that, we're going to go ahead and move on and kind of wrap things up here. So thank you, everyone who's tuning in. I will see you all in the next one. Please take care of yourselves, and we'll see you very, very soon. All right? Okay, cool, nice. All right, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye now. Thank you so much. Mwah. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.